OK, back now to the story about two of the world's fastest sprinters who've both failed drugs tests. The former 100 metres record holder Asafa Powell of Jamaica and the American Tyson have tested positive for banned stimulants. Michele Verroken used to be in charge of anti-doping in the UK and joins us from London. Michele, thanks for joining us. We're still waiting for these B samples to come back, but is this a sign that Jamaica's drug testing is perhaps getting more sophisticated?
Well, I certainly think there's always been a concern expressed by one or two countries about what's going on in Jamaica. But let's be honest, is this about jealousy? Because I've seen these athletes at Commonwealth Games, and I certainly know the commitment of the athletics authorities within Jamaica. So I think it's too early to say this is about the drug testing system. What we should be focusing on are the athletes who know the anti-doping rules and somehow find themselves having violated those rules.
Tyson is one of the biggest names in sprinting. In fact, Asafa Powell and Sharon Simpson as well. What does this do for the image of world athletics with these guys who are the big players in the game being involved in drugs?
Well, of course, it sends real shock waves through the sporting world because these are top athletes, as I say, know the anti-doping rules very, very well, and yet they seem to have found themselves having violated those rules. And it means to say that no matter how big you are, you could be caught if you are going to break those rules. But the question in my mind is, with these athletes, is it entirely possible that they could have mistakenly taken something, been advised to take something, particularly where you have so many from the same country, maybe the same training group, falling foul of what appears to be the same substance. So it's important we look at the explanation, and what frustrates me for athletes is that in finding that explanation, we may not be doing anything about it. We know supplements are a real risk for our athletes, and yet supplements remain unregulated. So our athletes, under pressure to perform, seem to be constantly under that kind of pressure. We really do need to focus on what's permitted for athletes to use in sport.
OK, and very quickly, we had a sensational weekend from a British perspective. James Asali starring in the 100 metres and recording the second fastest time for a Brit in the 100 metres. What measures can we be reassured by to know that some of the UK sprinters aren't involved in drugs testing?
Well, it's absolutely vital that they are receiving the right sort of information and education, and that the entourage around them, and that includes friends and family, are very, very aware of the anti-doping regulations and how to manage diet, how to manage any supplementation, and how to actually reduce all the risks around an athlete of just inadvertently taking something that someone recommends. And so I really do feel we should be focusing on that which is permitted and getting supplements properly regulated in the very same way medications are.
OK, Michele, thank you very much for talking to us. And of course, if and when the story develops, we'll keep everyone up to date as we can.
All right, thanks very much.